There is a question many women only begin to ask after a relationship ends, after a friendship dissolves, after someone disappears without explanation, or after a person awakens an old pain that seemed to have gone quiet inside them. Why did this person come into my life? At first, it looks ordinary. A meeting that was not planned, a conversation that began without weight, a message, an introduction, a glance, a coincidence inside the movement of daily life. But when a woman looks back with more consciousness, she may begin to notice that certain people did not enter her story only to become part of it. They entered to reveal something within her. That revelation does not always arrive gently. Sometimes it comes through a passion that destabilizes everything she thought she knew about herself. At other times, it appears through a friendship that awakens comparison, jealousy, fear of rejection, or the old terror of being replaced. It can also come through someone who seems to see her deeply, or through someone who makes her feel invisible again, as if an ancient wound had found a new voice. Before we continue, if this idea is touching something in you, subscribe to this channel. Here, we look beneath the surface of love, identity, desire, shadow, intuition, dreams, archetypes, and the emotional patterns that quietly shape a woman's life. Not so you can become someone else, but so you can return to yourself with more consciousness, presence, and truth. Carl Jung understood that the human soul does not live only on the surface of events. What we call coincidence often carries a deeper meaning. A meeting may look simple from the outside, while inside it touches an image, a memory, a complex, a wound, or an archetype that was already living in the unconscious. That is why certain people feel strangely familiar, even when they have just arrived. A woman can meet someone and feel that their presence moves something she cannot explain. It may feel like fascination. It may feel like fear. Sometimes it is a quiet recognition, as if this person is carrying a key to an inner room she has not yet opened. The mind tries to organize the experience in rational terms, but the soul notices before language does. And when the soul notices something, it does not always know how to translate it immediately. At the beginning, ordinary explanations feel safer. The wrong person, the wrong time, an attraction that became too intense, a connection that seemed meaningful then slowly turned confusing. The mind does this because it wants to protect a woman from the deeper question. Why did this person touch a part of me I did not yet understand? That question is the beginning of transformation. No one enters a woman's life by accident. This does not mean every relationship is meant to last. It does not mean every person who arrives is good for her. It does not mean a painful experience should be romanticized. Depth psychology does not ask a woman to excuse what harmed her. It invites her to look at the experience through a more conscious question. What did this person reveal in me? Some encounters expose the fear of not being chosen. Others show the habit of caring for everyone while leaving the self behind. A relationship may uncover the need to be loved at any cost. A certain presence can awaken the woman she has been suppressing, the one who feels anger, wants more, refuses crumbs, and no longer wishes to be agreeable just to belong. What a woman calls destiny is often resonance. The law of resonance, when understood psychologically, should never be turned into blame. It is not about saying a woman consciously attracted her pain. That would be cruel and shallow. The truth is more subtle. We tend to bond with people, situations, and stories that speak to something alive within us, even when that something remains unconscious. A woman who learned early that love had to be earned may feel strangely drawn to people who never choose her fully, not because she wants to suffer, but because her inner system recognizes the pattern as familiar. The body knows that waiting. The soul knows that absence. The inner child knows the effort of trying to finally be seen. Another woman may find herself drawn to emotionally unavailable people because, somewhere deep inside, real intimacy feels unsafe. She longs for love, but being truly seen still feels dangerous. Her conscious mind says she wants someone present. Her unconscious may still be trying to protect her. This is where Jung becomes so important for the feminine life. He did not look only at behavior. He looked at the symbols beneath behavior, the inner images, the archetypes, the complexes, the patterns a person repeats without noticing, believing she is freely choosing each time. A woman may think she is choosing a partner, when in truth, she is trying to be chosen by the father who is never emotionally present. She may believe she is saving someone, while a wounded child inside her is still hoping to be saved. She may call it love when, at a deeper level, it is an attempt to finally win an old story of rejection. Nothing is wrong with her. It simply means a part of the soul is asking to be seen. And when the soul is not heard directly, it speaks through repetition. The soul repeats the same kind of relationship. It repeats the same discomfort, the same imbalance, the same feeling of giving more than she receives. It brings back the familiar silence after she asks for presence, the exhaustion of trying to be understood by people who have no real desire to understand her, the ache of becoming smaller so love does not leave. Until one day, something in her stops. Not because she has all the answers, not because the pain has disappeared. Something inside her begins to realize that the question is not only about who keeps entering her life. There may be an old image within her choosing before consciousness has a chance to choose. This is a delicate point. It is also sacred. On the path of individuation, a woman begins to take back from others the power to define who she is. She starts to understand that not every attraction is truth. Not every intensity is intimacy. Not every emotionally charged encounter is a sign of destiny. Sometimes, what feels magnetic is only one wound recognizing another. Passion can be a mirror. Rejection can be a mirror. Envy can be one too. A deep admiration for another woman may reveal a quality her own soul is longing to embody. The discomfort she feels in the presence of a free woman may show where she is still keeping herself contained. Her judgment towards someone who allows herself to want more may reveal the part of her that was taught to stay quiet. When a woman understands this, life begins to speak another language. She no longer asks only why someone did what they did. She begins to ask why it hurt so deeply. Her attention moves away from controlling the other person and returns to listening to her own soul. This does not make the pain disappear immediately, but it turns the pain into a path. The ego wants simple explanations. It wants someone to blame, clean endings, quick answers. The soul does not move in a hurry. It matures through what we are willing to understand, integrate, and bring back into our own center. So when someone enters a woman's life and awakens an intense reaction, Jung would invite her to observe, not to judge the reaction, but to listen to it. Intensity often points to unconscious material. Immediate fascination may mean the person is carrying an idealized image. Disproportionate dislike may be touching the shadow. A fear of abandonment may reveal an older wound asking for attention. When a relationship makes a woman feel small, dependent, or desperate for validation, she may be facing the part of herself that still believes love has to be earned through effort. This kind of consciousness changes a life, not because it resolves everything at once, but because it returns power. As long as a woman believes everything happens only through bad luck, she remains trapped inside repetition. When she begins to notice the pattern, something inside her reorganizes. The question changes. Instead of asking, "Why does this always happen to me?" she begins to ask, "What in me still recognizes this as love, safety, or belonging?" That question does not diminish her. It awakens her. A conscious woman does not become cold. She becomes more present. She does not stop loving. She learns how to love without disappearing. She does not lose her capacity to surrender. She learns to recognize when surrender has become self-abandonment. Her sensitivity does not vanish. It becomes an instrument of truth instead of a prison. If this video is making sense to you, leave a like now. Not only to support the channel, but as a small mark of awareness. A way of registering that you are beginning to look at your meetings, bonds, and repetitions with more depth. Sometimes, one simple gesture marks the moment a woman stops blaming herself and begins to understand herself. In Jungian psychology, the people we meet can carry symbolic functions. One person may reflect a part of you that you have been avoiding. Another may become the threshold you would never have crossed alone. There are presences that arrive like storms, disturbing everything that had already lost its life. Others bring shelter for a season, or stay only long enough to awaken a question you can no longer silence. This does not make all of these people special in themselves. What matters is what they activated in you. Sometimes a woman believes she is in love with someone, when she is actually in love with the version of herself that awakens in their presence. She feels more alive, more beautiful, more desired, more courageous, more profound. Then she confuses the other person with the source of that energy. But perhaps that person only touched something that already belonged to her. The person was the spark. The fire was in the soul. When she understands this, something very important happens. She stops begging another person to return a feeling that was born inside her. She stops believing she lost herself when someone left. She begins to see that certain relationships did not take her light. They only showed her where she had not yet learned to hold it. Certain meetings awaken love. Others reveal dependency. A few show how much a woman has been adapting in order to be accepted. Some teach the price of silencing her own truth. There are relationships that seem to destroy an old identity, but with time, reveal that this identity had become too small for the soul that was trying to be born. This is the alchemical nature of encounters. Life places before a woman living images of what she needs to integrate. The shadow does not appear only in dark dreams. It appears in jealousy that disturbs her, in anger that frightens her, in the free woman she judges, in desire she tries to hide, in admiration that becomes comparison, in the urge to leave that she has been calling selfishness. Each time she refuses to look, life finds another way to show her, not as punishment, as invitation. Feminine individuation requires courage because it asks a woman to gather back the parts of herself she has scattered across other people. The beauty she projected onto another woman, the authority she handed to a partner, the permission she waited to receive from her family, the validation she searched for in someone who never knew how to truly see her, the desire she allowed to fall asleep so she would not seem too intense. Returning to herself means withdrawing these projections, one by one, and asking a question that can open an entire inner world. What part of me did I leave here? The answer may hurt. It may also free her. When a woman recognizes that the other person was a mirror, she no longer has to live imprisoned by the reflection. She can honor what was revealed, place boundaries where they are needed, close cycles that have already served their purpose, and continue with more wholeness. Not every encounter comes to remain. Some people arrive like seasons. They warm something inside us, make one part of the soul bloom, then leave. Others come like winter, removing illusions, old leaves, and expectations that no longer carry life. The ego suffers with departures because it clings to form. The soul, however, understands the movement of cycles. When the lesson is complete, insisting can become suffering. Many women remain inside stories that have already ended internally because they confuse attachment with love. They are still waiting for an explanation, an apology, a message, a return, a sign that what happened had value. But perhaps the value is already in what the experience transformed. Perhaps the question is no longer, why did this person leave? But, who did I become after they passed through my life? This change in perspective does not erase pain. It does not deny injustice. It does not ask a woman to accept crumbs, emotional absence, or anything that asks her to abandon her dignity. On the contrary, the more conscious she becomes, the less available she is for relationships that ask for her soul in exchange for fragments of affection. Consciousness does not keep a woman trapped. It helps her separate love from repetition. Some relationships enter our lives to show exactly that. They are not the answer. They are the symptom. They reveal where hunger still lives, where fear still speaks, where an old hope still waits for someone to confirm the worth a woman has not yet fully recognized within herself. But there comes a point when the soul grows tired of repeating. It begins to desire a different kind of bond, not necessarily more intense, but more true. A bond where a woman does not have to perform, where her silence is not punished, where her boundaries are not treated like an offense, where her presence does not depend on shrinking parts of herself. This kind of love does not come to fill a void. It comes to meet a woman who has already begun returning to her own center, and that changes everything. When a woman searches for someone to complete her, she may accept relationships that confirm her lack. But when she begins to recognize that her wholeness does not depend on another person's approval, she starts to attract and choose differently. The important word here is not only attract, it is choose. An unconscious woman can mistake familiarity for destiny. A woman in the process of individuation learns to ask, is this love? Or is it an old pattern wearing a new face? That question can save years of a life. It allows her to notice when she is about to enter the same story with another character. It helps her recognize when the body already knows something is not aligned, even before the mind has an explanation. It teaches her that peace is not boredom, presence is not a lack of chemistry, and love does not need to come mixed with anxiety in order to feel profound. The feminine soul does not want only intensity, it wants truth. Truth often begins when a woman stops romanticizing what disorganizes her. Look at the people who have passed through your life, not to blame yourself, not to excuse what they did, but to recognize the symbolic language of your own story. Who awakened your hunger to be chosen? Who touched your wound of abandonment? Who made you realize you were giving too much? Who revealed your courage? Who showed you your shadow? Who helped you see that your peace had been negotiated for far too long? Who brought you closer to the woman you are afraid to become? Some answers may come with sadness. Others may come with anger. A few may arrive with relief. But if you listen deeply, you will see that it was never only about the other person. Every encounter left a map. Not a map that asks you to return to the past, but one that helps you understand the invisible roads your soul has traveled to arrive here. A woman who understands resonance no longer sees herself as the victim of random meetings. She begins to notice that her life carries symbols, patterns, invitations, mirrors, and cycles. This does not mean controlling everything. It means participating in her own story with more consciousness. And when that consciousness matures, something changes in her field. Beautiful words are no longer enough to impress her. She begins to observe presence, coherence, the way she feels after being with someone. The body is no longer ignored. Intuition is no longer treated as exaggeration. Inner silence becomes valuable again. Slowly, she stops calling anxiety love. She stops calling absence a challenge. She stops calling crumbs hope. She stops convincing herself that she must shrink her soul in order to fit into someone else's life. This is how resonance changes. Not through force, not through control. Through the simple fact that the woman is no longer the same. When a woman becomes more conscious, what once felt irresistible begins to lose its shine. People who used to feel magnetic no longer capture her so easily. Confusing relationships stop looking profound. Emotional unavailability stops feeling mysterious. Chaos no longer passes for passion. For the first time, she may discover that peace can also be attractive. This is one of the quietest signs of transformation. A woman does not need to announce that she has changed. Her field changes first. Her choices begin to shift. Her boundaries become more natural. Guilt may still appear, but it no longer governs her. Fear may still knock at the door, but it does not decide alone. Desire stops being a request for permission and begins to become direction. In the end, no one entered your life only by accident. Some arrived to reveal what you desired. Others showed what you feared. There were people who awakened the forgotten woman, touched the wounded child, called forth your shadow, strengthened your voice, or showed the invisible line between love and losing yourself. Now you can look at all of it differently, not as punishment, not as failure, not as evidence that you do not know how to love, as the language of the soul. The person who arrived was a door. The one who left was also a door. The one who remained may be a mirror of another kind. And the one who hurt the most may have been the one who forced you to meet yourself in the place you had been avoiding. This does not make the pain beautiful. It makes it meaningful. There is a difference. A conscious woman does not need to decorate her wounds with spiritual language in order to survive them. She does not need to say that everything was good or necessary or meant to be in a simple way. What she can say, after time, after tears, after silence, after the slow return of her own center, is something much more honest. That experience showed me something. It showed me where I was still waiting. It showed me where I still abandoned myself. It showed me the old image of love I had been carrying. It showed me what I can no longer accept. It showed me the part of me that was ready to wake up. This is how suffering becomes consciousness, not because the past changes, but because the woman changes her relationship with the past. She no longer stands before her memories as someone condemned by them. She stands as someone learning to read them. The relationship that once felt like a wound becomes a symbol. The person who once seemed like the whole story becomes a chapter. The ending that once felt unbearable becomes a threshold she crossed without knowing how strong she was becoming. There is a deep feminine wisdom in being able to say, "This did not define me, but it revealed me." And perhaps that is what Jung wanted us to understand about the soul. The unconscious does not speak only through symptoms. It speaks through attraction, resistance, timing, dreams, repetition, the body, the people we cannot forget, and the stories we keep recreating until we finally learn how to see them. A woman's life is not merely a chain of random events. Beneath the surface, there are patterns asking to be understood, images asking to be integrated, archetypes asking to be recognized, parts of the self asking to come home. And every person who deeply moves her life becomes part of that language. The lover who awakened desire, the friend who revealed comparison, the mother who left an imprint, the father who became an inner absence, the stranger who spoke a sentence that stayed for years, the rival who awakened ambition, the child who opened tenderness, the loss that forced her to return to herself. None of it is meaningless when seen through the eyes of the soul. A woman does not become free by controlling who arrives or who leaves. She becomes free by understanding what each presence awakens, what each absence exposes, and what each ending asks her to reclaim. That is where her power returns. Not in bitterness, not in denial, not in becoming untouchable. Her power returns when she can look at her life and say, with a quieter heart, "I understand more now. I understand why certain people felt like home, even when they were not safe. I understand why I chased what kept disappearing. I understand why I confused longing with love. I understand why peace felt unfamiliar. I understand why I kept trying to earn what should have been given freely. And now, I choose differently." This is the transformation. Not becoming someone else, not erasing the past, not pretending nothing hurt. Returning to yourself with enough awareness to stop repeating the same life through different faces. Before you leave, write in the comments, "I recognize the mirror." If another sentence feels more true to the moment you are living, write that instead. Let your comment become a marker, a sign that you are willing to look at your story not with guilt, but with consciousness. Send this video to at least one woman who needs to hear this. Maybe she is still holding on to a relationship that has already revealed everything it came to reveal. Maybe she is trying to understand why certain people always awaken the same pain. Or maybe she needs to remember that no encounter defines her worth, but every encounter can reveal something about her soul. Subscribe to this channel if you want to keep exploring feminine psychology, archetypes, shadow, dreams, intuition, and the invisible patterns that shape a woman's life. And I'll see you in the next video.